My family started Thanksgiving without me. Now they're begging me back, calling and texting, desperately after I blocked them all, and they finally realized they lost me forever. I'm Emma Reed, 28, born and raised in the Midwest, currently trying to keep my sanity at a marketing job in downtown Chicago. My mom is Linda, 55, retired nurse, professional worrier when she wants to be, and strangely hands-off when she doesn't. My younger brother is Ryan, 25, MBA student with a calendar full of networking and a talent for showing up when dessert hits the table. Thanksgiving was our thing. Not fancy, not Instagram perfect. Just the Evanston house, the smell of roasted turkey drifting into the cold air, and the kind of warmth that comes from too many people talking over each other. We had a rhythm. Mom, Linda, micromanaged the sides. I handled the playlist and mashed potatoes. Ryan brought vibes, which is code for arriving late with a store-bought pie and opinions about gravy. It wasn't Hallmark, it was ours. This year, I needed it more than usual. November at an ad agency is trench warfare. Black Friday briefs, frantic clients, 12 tabs open per screen, and someone yelling, "We need a punchier CTA," like it's a fire alarm. I'd been living on coffee and short emails. By Wednesday night, my brain was chewing through its own wires. The plan was simple. Sleep in, gym if I felt ambitious, I didn't, then head to mom's and let the noise of family drown out the noise of work. At 10:42 a.m. I texted, me. What time should I come by? Mom, Linda. 4 p.m. See you then. Easy. Clean. A timestamp with a smile tucked inside. I screenshotted it like proof of life. I showered, pulled on a chunky sweater that passes for festive, and put on a little makeup. The kind that says, I am not exhausted, don't ask me about Q4. I picked up a pecan pie from a bakery in Lakeview, because, lesson learned, Ryan's signature pie is a myth, and Mom's crust turns militant after 2 days in the fridge. Pecan pie is peacekeeping. Neutral territory. On the way back, I checked the weather app, lake wind coming in sharp, temperature pretending to be polite but dropping fast after sundown. Chicago in late November doesn't play. I set a timer on my phone for 3:15 p.m. to start getting ready, 3:35 p.m. to call an Uber or grab my keys, contingency plans for my own procrastination. I was not going to be late. Shockingly, that felt important this time. I tossed laundry back into the hamper, wiped down a counter that didn't need it, and put the pie on the top shelf like a trophy. Then I sat for a minute. Quiet. Just me and the hum of the radiator. It's funny what your body does when you're finally alone with nothing to fix. My shoulders sank a notch, my jaw unclenched. It felt like the first sip of water after a long run. I scrolled old Thanksgiving photos, flour on Linda's shirt, Ryan making a face at the camera, me in the background holding a wooden spoon like a baton. It made the apartment feel warmer. It made the day feel set, like a table already waiting for me. At 3:12 p.m., my Apple Watch buzzed early, because of course I'd set a buffer on the buffer. I slid on boots, grabbed gloves, and tucked the pie into a tote like it was a newborn. One last look in the mirror. Presentable. Awake. Mostly human. I sent a final text. Me. On my way. Need anything? No dots. Then. Mom. Linda. All good. See you soon. I locked the door and took the elevator down. The lobby smelled like pine cleaner and someone's too ambitious candle. Outside, the air had that clean bite I love. Makes your eyes water and your heart move a little faster. I popped the trunk, settled the pie, and climbed in behind the wheel. 4 p.m. See you then. For once, I believed everything would be exactly as promised. The drive up to Evanston barely took half an hour. Streets were quiet, holiday quiet, that kind of eerie stillness when everyone is already inside, gathered around their tables. I pulled into Mom's block a little before 4, patting myself on the back. On time. Actually, early. A miracle in itself. But as I turned onto her street, my smile flattened. No cars. Not one. Usually, Thanksgiving at Linda's meant a driveway packed with cousins' SUVs, neighbors double parking like they had diplomatic immunity, and at least one car blocking the mailbox. This time, nothing. Just empty pavement and a row of leaves chasing each other in the wind. I slowed, checked the address like it had magically changed since last year. Same house. Same porch light with the bulb that flickers. My chest tightened. Maybe I was too early. Maybe everyone was running late for once. The thought made me laugh, sharp and hollow. My family, late. That would have been a Thanksgiving miracle. I parked at the curb, grabbed the tote with the pecan pie, and stepped out. The air hit colder than I expected, enough to bite through my sweater. As I adjusted my scarf, my phone buzzed in my coat pocket. A text from Linda. "We thought you'd be late." I stared at the screen, waiting for more words to appear, like maybe she'd add, "But we saved you a plate. Come in." Nothing. Just that one line, dangling in the cold. Before I could type anything back, another buzz. This time from Ryan. "We couldn't wait." My stomach dropped like an elevator with cut cables. I read it twice, 3 times. The words didn't shift, didn't soften. They'd started without me. I stood on the sidewalk, clutching the pie like a prop, my brain refusing to catch up with reality. My family, my mom Linda, my brother Ryan, had carved the turkey, passed the gravy, clinked glasses, and moved on. Without me. I walked up to the door, slower now, the way you walk when you already know you don't want to see what's inside. The welcome mat still had last year's faded pumpkin print. I rang the bell once. Waited. No answer. Knocked harder. Silence. Finally, I tried the knob. It turned too easily, like the house itself was tired of keeping me out. The smell hit first. Roasted turkey, garlic mashed potatoes, cranberry sauce. A wave of nostalgia mixed with betrayal. I stepped inside. The living room lamp was still on, but the house felt hollow, like the party had slipped out the back door. And then I saw it. The dining table. Half a turkey carved to the bone, side dishes scooped and slumped, gravy crusting at the edges. Plates scattered, napkins crumpled, wine glasses with fingerprints fading in the light. Thanksgiving, already over. I froze in the doorway, pie still in my hands, heart thudding in my chest. The chair where I always sat, second from the end, next to Ryan, pushed back just enough to prove it had been used. But not by me. That's when it sank in. I hadn't been late. I hadn't missed a text. I had been left out. On purpose. My fingers tightened around the tote strap until it cut into my skin. I could feel the heat rising up my neck, a cocktail of anger and humiliation. They hadn't waited. They hadn't even called. For the first time in my life, I realized maybe I wasn't really part of the table at all. I didn't stay long. The smell of gravy and garlic that used to mean comfort now felt sour in my throat. I set the pecan pie down on the counter, untouched, like evidence in a crime scene. My chest was pounding, but the silence in that house was louder than anything I'd ever heard. I turned and walked out, shutting the door softer than I wanted to. Slamming it would have felt good, but I refused to give Linda or Ryan the satisfaction, even if they weren't there to see it. My hands were shaking on the steering wheel before I even put the key in the ignition. The same hands that had typed "on my way" not even an hour ago. For a second, I thought about waiting in the driveway, force them to look me in the eye when they came back out, all smiles, acting like nothing happened. But the idea of standing there like some afterthought waiting for scraps? No, I wasn't going to beg for a chair at my own family's table. I started the car and pulled away, no destination in mind, just needed to move. The streets blurred as the anger took over. Every traffic light turned red like it was mocking me. I gripped the wheel tighter, knuckles white, jaw locked. The same question kept running circles in my head. Why didn't they wait? I drove until the houses thinned out and the road opened toward the lake. Lake Michigan was black glass under the streetlights, the wind pushing waves into the rocks. I parked in an empty lot, engine off, and just sat there with the cold seeping in. My phone buzzed again. Linda. Food's still here if you want to come back. I stared at the screen, the words burning into me. Still here? Like I was a stranger who missed the buffet? A second buzz. Ryan this time. Don't be dramatic. It's just dinner. My blood boiled. Just dinner. That was easy for Ryan. He'd never been the one they forgot, the one they assumed would adjust. He was always the one saved the best slice of pie, the golden boy with excuses that got pardoned. I didn't type back. Instead, I blocked them both. Thumb pressed down, decisive. The silence afterward felt cleaner, almost like breathing fresh air after weeks of stale rooms. But it wasn't relief. Not really. It was anger dressed up as control. And under that was something heavier. Being invisible in your own family isn't just pain, it's humiliation. I leaned back in the seat, eyes on the water. The city lights flickered far away, and for a moment, it felt like I was watching someone else's life. A better one. Thanksgiving was supposed to be about family, about showing up for each other. But sitting there in that parking lot, I realized maybe I was the only one who still believed that. The Friday after Thanksgiving was a blur. I worked through leftovers that weren't mine, delivery sushi, a couple sad bagels, and kept my phone face down on the counter. Blocking Linda and Ryan had been satisfying in the moment, but it also meant silence, and silence has a way of echoing louder than arguments. By Sunday night, the buzz of my phone cut through the quiet. Not a call this time, an email from Linda. The subject line, "Can we meet?" Short, cold. No love you, no sorry. Just 3 words that read like an appointment reminder. For 10 minutes I stared at it, fingers hovering over the trackpad. Part of me wanted to delete it, pretend I never saw it. Another part, the stupid, hopeful part, wondered if this was the beginning of an actual apology, closure, or at least an explanation. Monday morning, another ping, a follow-up. I'll be at the Starbucks on Main Street, Tuesday at 5. Please come. Not a request this time. A command. Like I was 15 again and had to explain why my curfew was blown. My gut clenched, but my brain whispered maybe. I told myself I'd ignore it, that I was done being the afterthought. But when Tuesday rolled around, I was still checking the clock, still hearing the question I couldn't shake. What if she actually means it this time? At 4:30, I caved. I threw on a coat, grabbed my keys, and headed out into the gray Chicago evening. The streets were slick from half-melted snow, headlights bouncing off puddles, everyone rushing somewhere warm. I hated how much my pulse quickened, how my chest felt tight, like I was the one late now. I parked a block away, sat there with the engine running, staring at the green Starbucks sign glowing through the mist. It looked absurdly cheerful for what I knew was coming. I checked my reflection in the rearview mirror, hair decent, eyes tired, mouth set like I was bracing for impact. This wasn't about coffee. It wasn't about pleasantries. It was about finally hearing Linda say the words she'd never managed to say when it mattered. We were wrong. Still, I wasn't sure which scared me more, hearing them or not hearing them at all. So I killed the engine, stepped out into the cold, and walked toward the door, heart pounding harder with every step. The heat smacked me as soon as I pushed through the glass doors. Coffee, cinnamon, steamed milk. It should have been comforting. Instead, it smelled like stage lights before a fight. Linda was already there, sitting by the window, hands clasped on the table like she was waiting for a parole board. When she saw me, her face tightened into something halfway between nervous and stubborn. Not exactly motherly warmth. I sat across from her, coat still on. My heart was hammering, but my voice came out flat. So? She cleared her throat. I know you're upset, Emma. I'm sorry we didn't wait. But it wasn't what you think. The food was getting cold. We thought maybe you weren't coming. I stared at her. No blink, no nod. Just stared. Because if she actually believed that, then she hadn't been listening to me for 28 years. You could have called, I finally said. You could have checked. Instead, you carved the turkey and sent me a text after the fact. Her mouth opened, closed. Then she leaned in. I didn't mean to hurt you. We just assumed. Exactly, I cut in. You assumed. You always assume I'll bend, that I'll just roll with whatever scraps you leave. Silence stretched. I almost thought I'd broken her. Then the door chimed and in walked Ryan, carrying himself like he was walking into a boardroom. He spotted us, came straight over, and dropped into the chair beside her. Let's not drag this out, he said, voice low but sharp. It was just dinner. My laugh was short, ugly. Just dinner. That's what you call deliberately excluding me from the one tradition we have left? Ryan rolled his eyes. Not everything has to revolve around you, Emma. You're always busy, always late. We couldn't wait forever. The fire in my chest snapped into words before I could filter them. I was on time, Ryan. I was standing in the driveway while you were licking gravy off your plate. Don't twist this like it's my fault. People at nearby tables shifted, pretending not to listen. My hands were trembling, but not from fear, from rage finally leaving its cage. I leaned forward, my voice steady now. It's not about turkey. It's about how easily you both decided I didn't matter. Like I was optional. Linda reached across the table, fingers brushing mine. We do care. We just... No, I snapped, pulling back. You had a choice. And you chose convenience over me. For the first time, Ryan didn't have a comeback. His jaw tightened, but his eyes dropped. Linda looked small, fragile even, but the apology I needed wasn't there. Just guilt wrapped in excuses. I stood, chair scraping loud against the floor. Every head in the cafe turned. I'm done being an afterthought. If that's all I am to this family, then enjoy your dinners without me. And with that, I walked out, the cold air outside hitting me harder than the espresso steam inside. But at least the air was honest. The cold slapped me awake the second I left the Starbucks. My pulse was still high, my chest tight from every word I'd spit out at Linda and Ryan. But as I stood on the sidewalk, the night air felt cleaner than anything inside. I walked to my car, each step heavier but sharper, like I was peeling something off my skin. The headlights from passing cars streaked across the wet pavement, and I realized my hands weren't shaking anymore. I wasn't holding it in. I'd finally said it. Still, the silence that followed me into the driver's seat wasn't peace. It was hollow. For years, I'd convinced myself that family meant showing up no matter what. That if I worked harder, tried harder, excused more, I could hold the seams together. But sitting there, engine idling, I knew better. I'd been patching a quilt that no one else cared to keep warm. My phone buzzed on the console. A notification sliding across the screen. Linda again. Please, can we just talk this through? I stared at it until the light dimmed. For once, I didn't answer. Because here's the thing, conversations only matter when both sides are willing to hear the truth. And tonight, I'd heard enough to last me a lifetime. I gripped the wheel and whispered it out loud, just to myself. I'm done being an afterthought. The words felt strange, but solid, like bricks stacked where the cracks used to be. I pulled out of the lot, driving nowhere in particular, city lights sliding past in broken lines. The ache was still there, but beneath it, something else. Not relief exactly, more like resolve. For the first time in years, I wasn't trying to win them back. I wasn't fighting for a seat at a table that had already decided it didn't need me. I was walking away, for real this time. A week slipped by after that night at Starbucks. 7 days of quiet that felt louder than any shouting match could. I buried myself in work, let meetings and deadlines fill the space where family used to be. But even as I smiled at coworkers and nodded through presentations, there was always that hollow spot under the surface. Then on Sunday evening, my phone lit up with a number I didn't recognize. I almost let it go to voicemail. Something in my gut told me it was Linda. I answered anyway. Emma? Her voice cracked through the line, thin and shaky, like she'd been rehearsing this call and still couldn't get it right. I didn't say anything, just waited. I've been thinking, she started, about Thanksgiving. About how we treated you. We pushed you away. I pushed you away. And I'm so sorry. For a second, I didn't recognize the words. Not because of what they meant, but because of who they were coming from. Linda never admitted fault. Her brand of motherhood had always been explain, deflect, move on. Not this. I don't expect you to forgive me right now, she continued, her voice trembling. But I need you to know we were wrong. I was wrong. And if you'll let me, I want to make it right, whatever it takes. I stared at the ceiling, the weight of her words pressing down. Part of me wanted to cry. Another part wanted to laugh, dark, bitter. Because why did it take carving a turkey without me for her to finally get it? You hurt me, I finally said. My own voice sounded strange, distant, like it belonged to someone braver. You made me feel like I didn't matter, and I don't know if I can just forget that. Silence on the other end. Then soft. I know. I don't want you to forget. I just want a chance to show you it can be different. Different. The word hung in the air like a fragile balloon I wasn't sure I wanted to touch. I closed my eyes, leaned back into the couch. For the first time in days, I didn't feel rage clawing at me, just exhaustion. And beneath it, a flicker of something I hated admitting out loud, hope. Maybe, I said. But this time, it's on you to prove it. I'm done chasing my place at the table. I understand, Linda whispered. One step at a time. That's all I'm asking. When I hung up, I didn't feel healed. I didn't feel whole. But I felt a shift, like a crack in the wall I'd built, light sneaking through whether I wanted it or not. It wasn't forgiveness, not yet, but it was the start of something. And for once, the choice was mine. So that's where I'm at, a family that carved the turkey without me, then carved something deeper in the process. And now, an apology that might be real, or might just be another patch on the same old wound. Here's the thing. Family isn't about food on the table. It's about whether there's a seat for you at all, whether you're valued or just tolerated. I told Linda the choice is on her this time. No more chasing, no more begging for scraps. But what would you do if it were you? Would you give them another chance to prove they can change? Or would you finally walk away for good? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I really want to hear, because sometimes the hardest decisions don't come with recipes. They come with scars.